things like that. I wouldn't say don't matter to people. They're just not as important, unfortunately, anymore. I mean, I'm all for technology. I work in high technology. I do that for a living. That's how I get my paycheck. Although the government shutdown, I might have a few days off next week. It's possible. My job is actually affected by that 100%. I'm like, please, Mr. Man, I'd like to. I need the money. I want to go to work on Monday. But I am affected by that, unfortunately. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But and I know everybody here and probably people who are listening have seen this to a certain degree. Bruce, my daughter goes out to a place called Damon College out in Buffalo. Well, actually, it's Amherst. My daughter, I pass old Woody's place, ZIA's place all the time. We were at a local restaurant chain there, nice family place. Great atmosphere. Sort of like I call it a better version of a Fridays, is what I could describe it as. But you could tell that it was a local place, it wasn't, it had a nice atmosphere to it. And I remember I was there with my wife and my son was out there with us, and my daughter was sitting at a table, and I see a family of 8 people. I knew where this story's going. Well, I'm going to say it anyway. Every one of them was on a phone. And I'm thinking to myself, I felt like blowing a bullhorn. And attention, people sitting at table 9, talk to each other. Talk to each other. That is all. I mean, it's like I have a standing rule. We go out to dinner. I don't care if we're going to McDonald's. The damn phones stay in the car. Nobody picks them up. I don't care. That's it. They don't come with us. Or one person brings a phone because everybody in the family has everybody's phone number. If some crisis pops up, they can get a hold of us. But keep the phones in the car. And as far as stuff goes, that's something I worry about too. I have a couple of key pieces I want to stay in the family. The straight key my uncle had in the last ship he was on in World War II, the former W2 TRH. It was Mike Sertinsky, who was a signal operator. First in the Atlantic Theater, then when Pearl Harbor broke out, he got reassigned to a cargo vessel called the USS Algarab in the Pacific Theater. There he remained for the rest of it until he got discharged. I think it was February of '46 he got out, but something like that. But anyway, so that key stays in the family. And there's an SX-25 Holocrafters. It's in perfect condition that he bought. He was the original owner of everything he had that I got a hold of. He didn't have a lot, He wasn't one of these guys that had, 50 transmitters and 20 receivers and that kind of thing. That's small around this house, just a couple of pieces, not much. And fortunately, they chucked all his paperwork, including the signal operator's log he had on the ship, which I would have loved to have gotten a hold of, but they just didn't know. It wasn't malice. They just, it's one of those things. And so that radio, I told my wife, I go before you, that stays in the family. Please keep that in the family somewhere, even if you just store it somewhere. Maybe eventually give it to somebody who appreciates it if you can find somebody like that. But it's like technology. It's like, once in a while, you really do have to shut it down and go for a walk in the woods. That'd be a 3 AMD to take it. To be a 2 TRH. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. W2TRH, hold on. W2TRH and W1UJR. I think the other station assigned is W3EMD. Good morning. And it's the first time that I've been on air since the 3rd of December. We're away for nearly 4 weeks. And just got to the shack here upstate just last night, again for the first time in about 6 weeks. Bruce, I know we've talked several times. Steve, I know we have. This is Buzz in near Rhinebeck, New York, and listening to the conversation, which is a little disappointing, of course. Yeah, same issues here. Of course, my family is all quite distant. My 2 sons, one lives in London and the other in Los Angeles, and have totally separate lives. And I have no idea what's going to happen to any of our stuff, radio or otherwise. I'm not sure that there's much I can do to worry about it, though. maybe leave it to them to worry about it. It's very interesting, though. There is somebody doing a genealogy of our family, and that person happens to be in Australia, of all places. Hold on a second. I need to touch the intent tuner here. Stand by. Okay. Yeah, there's a woman in Australia who's related to our family, and she is a family genealogist, and she actually came over to the U.S. to interview my father about 2 years before he passed away at age 97. So somebody's looking after that part of it, but as far as the stuff is concerned, I have no idea what will happen. And your comment about why you get stuff is also true here. I have, this is the KW1, and that's just a serendipity. That just kind of happened. But the 75A4 and KWS1, that was the rig that was in QST in 1955 when I was getting my license. And of course, there was no way on earth I could ever consider having a 75A4 and a KWS1. Well, of course, now I got one. But again, what happens to it from here is anybody's guess. And just one further comment. Yes, sitting in a restaurant last night, and up here, and three 20-something women came in, sat down at the next table, and they all took out their phones and proceeded to play phone, and noticed that nobody said a word to each other. That's more and more common. What we also see is in restaurants where kids, kids 7, 8, 9, that age, are given an iPad to play with to shut them up. But that's the state of nature, I suppose. So not much can be done about it. Up to you, Bruce. It's been a little while since we talked. I think I looked back in my log. It was back in October sometime. W1 UJR with W2TRH, W3EMD. Go ahead.
Okay, let me get it over to Bruce, WX10, and then Bruce can turn it to me. I think that's the correct order. WX10 in the group, W1 UJR.
Yes. Okay, let's see if things are working here. Yay. I guess so. I decided to pour some coals on the fire here. Put some fire in the wire. Good morning, Buzz. Good morning, Steve. This is WX10 in Middlebury, Vermont. And we have an unusual situation, I think, in most cases, that we have two Bruces. Bruce 1 and Bruce 2. Except both of them are Bruce 1. Well, let me make a comment to the other Bruce. It's very interesting that you're involved in the maritime as a trustee, maritime experience. My father was the curator of exhibits and later prints and publications at Mariners Museum in Newport News, Virginia. And then he became a trustee, and then later trustee emeritus of the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum in St. Michael's, and that's where his collection ended up. And he lived at the time in the 1950s and 1930s, 1940s, where if you could amass a collection in the same category for which you were employed by someone else. And so he amassed his own maritime collection at the same time he was collecting for the museum. Now that would have been an interesting conflict of interest, but apparently not at the time. So his collection was such that it was purchased by the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum in St. Michael's, and it was the biggest collection that they'd ever purchased, and I think still remains of its sort. And so I wanted to make that connection. We could maybe talk a little bit more about that. And recently, I connected with a college friend. I went to Virginia Tech, and we were in the cadet corps together, although that did not lead to any kind of service for me in late after college. And I met his new wife. Sadly, his first wife died, but he remarried, and now she's the trustee of a maritime museum on the western shore of Chesapeake Bay. And you'd have to give me a minute to try to think of what that is. I can't think of it at the moment. But with regards to phones, telephones, smartphones, I guess, showing up, I'm a musician, and I'm able to play in orchestral settings. It's amazing to me that during rehearsals, thank God it's not during concerts, during rehearsals you get 57 bars of rest, out come the phones in the trumpet section and the horn section, trombone section particularly, because they get to count more. They're less active in a lot of situations. And I'm thinking, I saw an article just the other day about should classroom teachers collect phones and from students, and it was aptly illustrated by, it had a tray with divisions in front of the classroom, and all the little smartphones were lined up in their appropriate slots. So that was the deal. You come in this classroom, you deposit your phone there. You know, they should do that in orchestras too. Anyway, good signals all around, and nice to hear. Steve, I've heard you on the air before, W2TRH. Frequently I listen, more than transmit. And Buzz, nice to make your acquaintance down there. I think you said in Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck. So I think we've got a good geographic distribution going on here. So back to you, Bruce. W1UJR with W2TRH and W3EMD on the side, WX10.
All right, boy, a lot of topics here. Let me try to grab just a few of the most pertinent. But so the Maritime Museum thing, yeah, absolutely. We can talk offline or talk on the air about that. So I've always been interested in that. I used to, when I was growing up, we vacationed in Maryland on the Chesapeake, and used to take our little wooden powerboat, my cousin and I, out into the Chesapeake Bay, much to the chagrin of my parents, who instructed us not to leave our little cove. But so I grew up in that area, and that's an absolutely wonderful area. I'm not sure the town that my grandparents' cottage was in looks anything like what it used to be like. It was Edgewater, Maryland. And I remember I used to walk barefoot to the store, and the pavement would be so hot, you know, that you had to run over and stand on the gravel. But I think that's changed a lot, unfortunately. The phone thing, yeah, that, you know, I love technology, but like everything, it's a double-edged sword. And I see the exact same thing. I see it in not so much in my business, but I definitely see it in my other job. I work as an EMT, and when we're in the crew room, that's all everybody does is they've got their phones out, and you know, we talk and we interact and things, but very few people pick up a magazine to read. Very few people pick up a book to read. Very few people really sit down and have any type of serious, you know, discourse. It's usually the phone. You know, oh, I got the Snapchat picture, or check this out on Facebook, or, and I get that. And I'm not being critical of that's that generation, but in some way, I really think they're losing out on the richness of human interaction. You know, yes, they're interacting with other humans, but it's doing it through a machine. And I find, and I don't want to generalize, but I find, and I will generalize, I find some of these folks really have a hard time carrying on a conversation. You know, if you really want to have a serious conversation about something, you know, other than the medical topics, which, you know, we're there to do, but other medical topics, we want to talk about any type of, you know, values-based conversation. It lasts for about a minute. They seem to become uncomfortable, and then they go back to the phone. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And yeah, I see that all the time in restaurants. And I get that. You know, if you've got an emergency situation, you've got an ill family member, you've got need to use that phone, you know, get it out. But when you're around others, I just think that I think first of all it's polite to engage in conversation with the other folks, but I think also pulling out a phone is just it's almost like a passive aggressive move sometimes. I'm just not going to talk to this person. I get that people give them to their kids to entertain their kids. I get that, you know. But again, I don't think that's good for the child either. You know, teach that child how to interact. Teach that child how to behave. Don't just distract the child with the cell phone. Teach them how to engage other adults. But I don't want to sound like an old buzzer, but society's changing. Whether it's the thing we talked about earlier, whether people don't want your junk for old radio stuff, or don't want your old collection of china or furniture or whatever you have. Society is definitely changing, and I guess I'm in control of my own little environment. I guess I'm not obligated, and I shouldn't be obligated to worry about others. I mean, that's their life. They can choose to live it how they wish. But in some ways, I think I'm deeply saddened by that, because I think they're missing out on the on the richness that we had, cultural richness and social richness we had growing up. You know, we didn't have those distractions. Maybe somebody would read the paper at the dinner table, but usually it was to share an article with everyone else for discussion. But certainly everyone didn't pull out their phones. I can't imagine in an orchestra someone saying, "Well, we have a break. Let's pull out the phone and check." Really, is that much going to change your life in that short a time? But people are people, and I guess that's the way it is. Brave new world. I'm not sure I want to be part of it. So let me turn it over to W2TRH. Got a good group going in here. A really good group. And Bruce WX10. Yeah, we probably have a lot to talk about offline or online. Well, next time we're on the air. How about that? Well, let's do the actual social thing and talk about it on the air. So let me turn over to W2TRH. And also hello to Bruce down in Rhinebeck. Bruce, you got a very nice signal in here. Good to hear from you again. W2TRH in the group, W1UJR.
He said he was going to step away for a minute, so Buzz, he said he's going to step away for a minute, so Buzz, over to you, W3EMD.
Yeah, fine. W1UJR, WX10, W2TRH, W3EMD. I apologize for leaving you out there, Middlebury Bruce. I thought you had fun. Speaking of Middlebury, you may have company soon. My granddaughter, who is 16 in Los Angeles, went on a college tour of some East Coast colleges about